Actually it goes 30 on throttle almost. That's crazy. What's up, e-bike fans? In this video we're going to be reviewing the Mokwheel 750 Upland Plus. It's an awesome bike, 30 miles an hour max top speed. Let's get started. So at the time of this video, the price of the bike right now for the Upland Plus and for the Tour Plus is $16.99 minus $150 if you use the launch code LAUNCH when you do the checkout page. That's $150 off the bike there, so you get it for only $15.49 for these bikes. It's something you might want to consider checking out. Plus, it's one of the few bikes that actually goes over 28 miles an hour. Alright, so we're going to start with the specs first. So what we have here is 750 watts of raw power on this bike. It's being powered by a 48 volt battery, and combine that with a 22 amp controller. So what that means is there's a lot of power getting out of this, and you get a lot of speed. Now they've tuned this bike to go up to 30 miles an hour on throttle alone. I have some footage that you'll be able to see here that I'm showing that, and this is on some flat surfaces. Now even though it has a lot of this high-end power that goes, it doesn't have that really uncomfortable jerkiness of a lot of some of the other bikes that I've actually tested before. So they've tuned it really well. It is solidly built. Let's start moving forward from other places that we have here. We're starting with the rear tail light. We have an integrated rear tail light here. When you hit the brake, you will notice that the brake light does come on, and it's bright enough that even with this sun that we have here, it still shows very nicely. Now we also have nighttime light, and when you hit the brake, it lightens even so. So it works night or day there that we have. So that's an integrated tail light. It comes with this solid rack on the back here. The bike is rated to go ahead and be weighted at a max rider weight of 350 pounds. So it's, like I said, very solid. The bike weighs about 80 pounds. It's a very comfortable ride as well. The next thing, if we move a little forward, we have a 7-speed drivetrain here. It has a Shimano shifter, tourney. These are, your basic tourney shifters. It works really well. It's not in high end, but it doesn't really need to be. It does its job just beautifully. So you have smooth shifting. Then you also have your chain with nice branded neoprene to protect your frame from getting scratched. But this is a hunter green frame, and any type of scratches and nicks on something from a chain will show really nicely. So it's really nice that they added this touch here. We'll talk about the front and the rear brakes from another angle, but we're just, so now that you know that it does have zoom brakes, the mechanical disc brakes with 180 millimeter rotors. Plenty of stopping power. In fact, that's one of the highlights of this bike. I found immediately when getting started, it felt almost like hydraulic brakes because they work so well. So moving forward toward the front midsection of the bike here, we have a chainring here with a 210 millimeter crank length here. It's actually a very nice smooth crank length that's on here. And even though this bike looks extremely large, it's built for people between 5'3" to 6'4". And that 5'3" height, that might be pushing it. I'm actually 5'5", and I would say the standover height is already at that point where I don't know if anybody else should be any shorter than me. With the standover height is 31 inches, and that's, like I said, about max for me. For someone 5'3", they could probably get this with full pedal extension. That'll be good, but it's stopping that when they're actually getting off and waiting at lights or something, that might actually be a very uncomfortable height. The next thing is also in the middle that we have here. It is a cadence sensor bike. It does register the speed of your pedaling before the motor kicks in. And typical of actually most of the cadence sensors bike, there is a slight delay before it kicks in, but nothing that's that you can't get used to very quickly. And it's nothing better or worse than any other bikes that I've been on. It's pretty typical of it. So just be aware, with this much power, that there might be a half second or a half turn before the cadence kicks in, where you actually feel the burst coming through of the power going into that. So coming a little higher in the midsection here, we have a really very comfortable and cushy seat here. This is another really big highlight of the bike, is that it comes with a quality soft seat. Very, very cushiony. And it's wide too. All right, so let's go ahead and move into the midsection of the bike here, where we have our battery, which is a 16 amp hour battery. It's a monster size battery. On the website of Mokwheel, they actually do say that this battery can go probably up to about 35 miles on a single charge, depending on the rider, of course, and what your type of riding conditions are and your weight. But it also comes with a 3 amp charger. So it's a little faster than your regular typical 2 amps. So you still get about 5 to 6 hours of timing before your charging will actually be complete. This battery is easily removable. You just pop a key in, turn it, it comes out a little bit, and grab it with two hands and pull it out. Because it has 16 amp hours of capacity, it's actually a really heavy battery. So they have another bike model that's very similar in specs, except for the way the frame design is, where the battery comes out from the bottom. I actually prefer something that comes out from the top, so I don't accidentally drop the battery coming down. Now, both of those bikes, the Tour and this Upland Plus, there is a spot where you can just take this out, plug it right in, and it will, you can charge it even on the bike itself, so you don't need to remove the battery if you don't want to. Then moving on a little forward, we also have an adjustable neck stem here, so you can actually angle it. Now again, at 5 feet 5 inches, my arm reach is actually not all that long. So I have this all the way brought back up to here. So I have a very comfortable upright riding position, where you'll see in some of the shots that I have here. And also because of the curvature of these handlebars, it can come even closer. Gives a shorter rider with a shorter arm reach a very comfortable ride, very upright, with a soft seat on top of that. It just makes it a really amazing design of a bike. Great job on actually having this design put together so that shorter riders won't feel as though it's too big of a bike for them. Okay, so now starting with the top of the handlebar area here in our whole cockpit, we actually have it's kind of like a full leather grip. These are locking grips. I did actually have to adjust them and use just a small little Allen wrench, got it adjusted, and I love that they will not move on me. They also have a half twist throttle here, typical of these type of bikes here. And then also we have our 7-speed SIS Shimano shifter here. Again, very typical of a lot of e-bikes. They do a great job on your shifting, so you don't have to worry about it. And then of course our Zoom brakes, making mention, these are really awesome brakes. They stop very, very good. They don't make any noise. They also have your integrated cutoffs, your motor cutoff for safety. So as soon as you hit the brakes a little, they actually will deactivate the motor from continuing to push you forward. Next we have on this side, let's move over to the other side of the handlebar. Again, another Zoom shifter here. And then we have our standard up and down for our PAS level support. This is our on button. By holding it down, then you have your display turn on. And by clicking up and down, we have up to 5 pedal assist there. Next, another interesting cool feature I thought was on that they put on here is that the headlight and the horn are a little separated here by themselves. So it's not one of those where you have to hold the up to let the light turn on, which I was trying at first, not realizing that just one click turns on my headlight and one click turns it off. It also turns on the tail light at the same time if the headlight is going on. And then of course, we have a little horn that's not actually intimidating or scaring people out of the way. It's just a simple, hey, I'm coming down the pathway kind of thing. Your display is, again, very simple. It is not a color display, but to be honest, does it really need to be? I don't think so. This does everything I need it to do. By going through the different modes, I do also see that we have, my trip for the day. We also have how much voltage I have in the battery and the current that's actually being put out at the time of throttling or pedaling. And then of course we have our time for the trip too. Now, typical of this type of display that we have here, if you do turn off the bike, when you turn it back on, your trip automatically resets. To me, it's not a big deal. I know some people would like to have their trip reset on their own, but just so you know that that's one of the things that it does have there. Again, what I use this for is mostly just to see how much battery I have left. It has your standard bars going across the top to show you your battery levels, but mostly for speed. And as you'll see on a lot of the footage that I've taken, the speed is very close to the GPS that I was reading. That's some of the ways that they're able to keep the cost down on these bikes, by using good, well-known parts without kind of going overboard with things that are going to be higher end that are maybe not necessary. This is a bike that you're going to have a lot of fun riding, and as time goes on, I don't think you'll even realize that you're missing something like that. Okay, so next I want to go ahead and move a little lower on the bike here. In the front section here, we have your front suspension. I do not know the travel, but I'm going to guess it's between 80 to 100 millimeters. It does its job, especially for the weight of the bike that we have here. You also have your lockouts and your adjuster on how much you want to go ahead and have it on the softness, or if you want to tighten it up, you can just go ahead and push it there. We also have our preloads on the left hand side, and you can go ahead and also set your preload there too. Moving on to the front brake rotary here, so now we have a good shot of this. As you can see, we have our 180 millimeter rotor with our Zoom brakes here. Easy to adjust, easy to go ahead and use as well. Okay, so I want to go ahead and give a real big shout out to Mokwheel. Thank you very much for giving me an opportunity to get one of these bikes to do a review on before it really hit mainstream on the market. I just want to say Mokwheel did a great job as a first bike that's out there, or a first line of bikes that are coming out. If you check out their website, they're also coming out with some step-through models that look really amazing as well. And if they're anything like this bike, this is going to be another company that's going to be a strong contender in the market, that's for sure. Again, thank you again to Mokwheel. I really appreciate it. And thank you guys for all of your support. If you like this kind of video and want more videos, go ahead and give a thumbs up, comment below, and don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next video.